welcome to Psalmic Saturday here at Ariel's Corner. This is Ariel Gatoga, and we are streaming live on YouTube and on Twitch. Oh my, I keep forgetting to update my video there. I hope everybody's doing great today. Sorry for the lateness, but we had a little streaming issue, so I think it's all good now. I think we're streaming. Okay, this is a good one. I like the full moon. I hope everybody's doing great. We are streaming live on YouTube and on Twitch, at least it says so. Moderating today on YouTube. Moderating on YouTube today are the lovely Vanessa and the lovely Dre, and moderating on Twitch is the lovely Deline. Thank you so much, moderators, and thanks so much to everybody for joining us today. We'll get started right away with our Psalm spell because we have a premiere that is at 11 a.m. and we're already late, so we're going to get going. I'll forego any kind of announcements, and we'll just get going on our Psalm spell. I hope you're doing great. Okay. Today we are working Psalm 95. Psalm 95 in Psalm Magic is used traditionally to see the blessings of the future clearly, for guidance, to forgive another, and it's used as a Monday prayer. Today I would like to use Psalm 95 Today I would like to use Psalm 95 to receive guidance. So it can be guidance in general, or if you need guidance on a specific matter, we are going to use Psalm 95 to receive guidance. Now you can use this psalm with me for any purpose you like, because all of the seeds of magic that we find within it can be applicable to so many other things as well. The way we work Psalm Magic is very simple, easy, and effective. We take the psalm in question and we recite it out loud once all the way through without stopping. This is called an incantation. Then we go back through that same psalm and we take each verse in turn and we search for hidden meanings behind each verse. We call these magic seeds. And by doing this, by searching for those magic seeds, we are not only finding them, but that labor is also planting those seeds into the deep mind, where they take root and they grow, they blossom forth, and they bear fruit after their kind. And that's exactly what you and I are going to do together right now with Psalm 95. O come, let us sing unto the Lord. Let us make a joyful noise to the rock of our salvation. Let us come before his presence with thanksgiving, and make a joyful noise unto him with psalms. For the Lord is great. For the Lord is a great God, and a great King above all gods. In his hand are the deep places of the earth. The strength of the hills is his also. The sea is his, and he made it, and his hands formed the dry land. O come, let us worship and bow down. Let us kneel before the Lord our Maker, for he is our God. And we are the people of his pasture, and the sheep of his hand. Today, if ye will hear his voice. Harden not your heart as in the provocation, and as in the day of temptation in the wilderness, when your fathers tempted me, proved me, and saw my work. 40 years long was I grieved with this generation, and said, It is a people that do err in their heart, and they have not known my ways, unto whom I swear in my wrath that they should not enter unto my rest. It starts off so nice. Then it changes so abruptly, and that's very, very important. We need to understand that it's on purpose that there is a change in tone, and we're going to get through it one verse at a time. So first, it's a call to worship to the congregation. So we're waking up our minds and we're getting our minds together, and we are deciding what it is that we're working this magic for, and we are allowing ourselves to get the energy risen so that we can work this spell. So bring to mind whatever it is that you have brought to the psalm. And then when we say, "Oh, come, let us sing unto the Lord. Let us make a joyful noise to the rock of our salvation. That is when we are allowing ourselves to raise the energy and the vibrations. And if you think about what a song is, when you sing a song, it creates a massive amount of vibration in the room. And that's an outer expression of the inner vibration that we're talking about here. So it's up to us to make a very intensive vibration with our own thoughts, to bring our minds together by calling the congregation together in order that we invoke this presence. Let us come before his presence with thanksgiving and make a joyful noise unto him with psalms. So when we're coming into the presence of infinite intelligence, it's important that we raise our vibrations to the highest level that we are capable of, and then infinite intelligence meets us where we are. Making a joyful noise unto this presence with psalms, meaning that we are allowing ourselves to dial in our vibration to that which is joy, to that which is thanksgiving, gratitude, and all good things. For the Lord is a great God and a great King above all gods. Now there's a hearkening back here to the fact that the ancient Semitic people were not monotheistic. And the idea of this Yud-He Vav-He, this tetragrammaton, which is what the Lord is, it was basically seen as the head of the gods. And the gods were the Elohim. The Elohim is the collective host. And Yud-He Vav-He was like the spokesperson or the chairman of the board, let's say. And so that's what this is hearkening back to, although a lot of people don't understand that, because by the time monotheism crept in and they weren't able to extract all of the old references to the manifold host of heaven that is the Elohim. So when these other symbols kind of stayed in there, they sort of make excuses for them. But this is actually a hearkening back to the truth, to the reality of what this is. So, for the Lord is a great God and a great King above all gods. So the tetragrammaton we are seeing as the focal point, or the coming together of the host of heaven, the unity that is all. In his hand are the deep places of the earth, and the strength of the hills is his also. No, the deep places of the earth are the long-standing experiences in our lives. Now, usually when you come to a psalm, it's not because everything's going great. So in this case, the deep places of the earth and also the strength of the hills, we'll talk about those in a second. The deep places of the earth represent situations that seem immovable to us. So whatever you need guidance about is probably something that you just can't seem to make work. And so when you're bringing it to this psalm, we're acknowledging, but in the hands of the infinite are all of those places. It is nothing to the infinite to change things and to move things and to heal things and to create things and to do things that we can't seem to do ourselves. And the strength of the hills is his also. So if you think of the hills as being, sometimes mountains are immovable problems that we can't scale, but the hills are challenges that we can scale. And there are also places where we can elevate our minds. When you go up to the holy hill, for instance, that's a way that you can climb up to the highest part of consciousness that you're capable of achieving on your own. And that's where the infinite meets you. But here it's saying that his hands are the deep places of the earth and the strength of the hills. So the strength of that higher mind. That strength of that higher mind isn't yours alone. That's where infinite intelligence lives, right in there, and also lives within your problems. And if you can meet the infinite where you are, then your problems are no longer problems. You realize that the infinite hasn't left you alone. The sea is his, and he made it, and his hands formed the dry land. So between the sea and the dry land, all the elements. To the ancients, the sea was a scary place. and the dry land was a less scary place. At least you knew what was on dry land, whereas the sea, you didn't know what. But at the same time, in the desert, the dry land could also be death. So it's saying that he made it, not that he made the problems for us, but that he made all substance. All that is a result of the infinite. What we're experiencing with what he made is different. And so if we can turn our minds to see that the infinite exists right where we are, regardless of how we're interpreting these things, whether we're interpreting these things as the sea, the dry land, the deep earth, or those hills, that the infinite is there and that we don't have to go anywhere. Oh, come, let us worship and bow down. Let us kneel before the Lord our Maker. Now, this is an act of supplication, which is not something that we tend to do much in the craft. But what we're talking about not so much is that we are lowly souls that don't deserve the infinite. We're talking about the fact that there is a part of our minds that has overtaken us, we call it our ego, has overtaken us and has miscreated and has caused us problems and is the reason we feel like we need guidance. Because if we didn't have that ego mind, we wouldn't need guidance because we would just be existing in perfection, which is how we were created to live. So what we're asking to bow down, meaning humble, is our ego minds, is to recognize that we don't know. That's why we're coming for guidance. We don't know what to do. If we knew what to do, we'd do it. We keep trying to do the things that we think are right, and it doesn't seem to be working. So when we say, let us worship, bow down, and kneel before the Creator, we're saying, let us see things with more humility and say, I don't know what to do, but you do, and you can help me. Now, to worship is to work. That means that when we get the indicators from infinite intelligence, when we get the guidance that we're asking for, that the infinite isn't only going to just say, oh, it's going to be okay. The infinite's going to tell us what to do, and then we have to do it. The infinite will give us things to do when we need to do things, and we have to do them. The other side of that is we don't do the things that the infinite doesn't tell us to do in regards to whatever the situation is. So you need guidance. Part of worship is only working when you're told to. If you're not told to go do something in regards to this, you leave it alone. So there's a very clear distinction when you have this, oh, come, let us worship and bow down, let us kneel before the Lord our Maker. It's not so much of a supplication when you look at it that way. What it is we're saying, I don't know what to do. You do. When you tell me to do something, I'm going to do it because I know that you want me to be happy. I know you want me to be successful in this situation. If you don't tell me to do something, or if you tell me not to do it, I'm not going to do it. Just that simple. For he is our God, and we are the people of his pasture. Now, this is very patriarchal language, so we have to orient ourselves to what the Lord is. The Lord is infinite. That which is infinite. It's pre-gender. It's not a he. And it's not a she. It's the one source, the one force, the one power in all the universe. There is nothing but this power. And anything that's not this power doesn't really exist except for in the realm of our own vain imaginations. And so when we are calling upon this power in this particular culture, it was a he. But when we're calling upon this power, what we're calling upon is the one force. And since there's only one, it can't be thwarted. And when this force is for you, nothing can be against you. So what you're looking for here in regards to guidance or any kind of help in a situation that you're coming to the psalm for, you understand this is the one power. Nothing can go up against it. So yay. My success is assured because I know what I'm doing here. I'm going to the source of which I am still at one, with whom I am still at one. I'm not separate from the source. I am as a beam of light from a star. That's what I am. I'm a beam of light from a star. I'm not separate. I'm shining forth. I'm an extension of this power. So for he is our God, and we are the people of his pasture. Now the idea of a flock of sheep and a shepherd is a very typical one in these Psalms and in the Bible in general. just because that's what they understood and that's what they knew. We don't tend to have flocks of sheep, so it doesn't make as much sense to us. But recognizing that the infinite as our source knows what's best for us and knows how to make us happy, and only wants us to be happy, only wants us to thrive, only wants us to succeed. And we being, it says here like sheep, but I prefer being like starlight, the sheep of his hand, today if we will hear his voice. So to hear the voice of the infinite is to listen to that guidance, is that to listen to your inner teacher. Your inner teacher is the voice for God. It may not be the voice of God all the time in regards to, you may not feel like you're able to listen to the voice of God itself. Sometimes we have to listen to the voice as it's interpreted to us through our inner guide. However you need to conceptualize it, that's fine. But understand that that guidance is always available to you, no matter what. And no one can take that away from you. It's only up to you to sit and listen and to know that you're going to be guided moment by moment by moment in whatever the situation is. And it will be clear to you if you are to take any action or not take any action because you're tuning into this guidance. You don't need any special skills. You're going to be shown, and it's going to be obvious. Okay, now it turns. Harden not your heart as in the provocation and as in the day of temptation in the wilderness. Okay, it's talking about a story in the Bible where everybody was exiled, the Exodus story. And they were all in the wilderness, and everybody started saying, okay, there is no God. This isn't working. La, 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 la. I'm going to think for myself. I'm going to do my own thing because God's not a thing anymore because it's not working. And they started to prejudge in this story, and they stopped listening to their guidance and did their own thing, their own way, and they all perished except for two people. The two people that didn't perish are the ones that listened to their guidance. So those are just symbols. We're not looking at this as history. We're just looking at it as a symbol to recognize that no matter what, your ego is going to try to tell you, don't listen to that. Don't listen to that. I'll tell you what to do. I'll tell you what to do. And we'll try to pull you out of your guidance. And then you're going to start making up your own mind. And when you start making up your own mind, you attempt to disconnect from your source of guidance. And it's as if the star beam, which you are, or the sunbeam that you are, starts to believe that it's all by itself, disconnected from the star, which we know doesn't make any sense. So that can't be true, but in its imagination, it's true. So for all intents and purposes, it's true. Because in this world, everything that we experience is a reflection of our minds. So if we believe that we have to make up our own minds, if we believe that we're abandoned by our source, if we believe that we're disconnected, we're going to have all kinds of evidence that we concoct to support that. So it's warning us here in a really positive way, even though it doesn't sound it. Don't think for yourself. Don't think all by yourself, because that's not it's not you. It's not yourself. It's your ego self. It's the part of you that believes and wants you to believe that you're separate from me. And I'm here to guide you, and you're going to be fine. But just remember that you can look back to history. You can, not only in this Bible, but anywhere in your own life. Every time you start thinking all by yourself, that's when you get into trouble. When your fathers tempted me, proved me, and saw my work, 40 years long was I grieved with this generation, and said, it is a people that do err in their hearts, and they have not known my ways. So it's just talking about the history that these people are all in your mind. The history of you not listening to your guidance. It's probably, for most of us anyway, been the bulk of the time in our lives. We haven't been guided by divine guidance. We've thought by ourselves. We've reacted out of fear. We've come up with silly ideas that didn't pan out so well. We've made mistake after mistake after mistake. And the whole idea here is that if you look back over your life, you're going to find all kinds of evidence to support the fact that it's not turned out well for you when you've thought all by yourself. But any time that you've learned how to think in connection with the infinite and to listen to that inner guide, that still small voice from within you, you can probably see evidence that things did work out for you. And if you've never tried this before, well, you're in for a wonderful surprise, because when you start listening and taking direction from that inner guidance, you really do have amazing, almost seemingly miraculous things happen for you. Unto whom I swear in my wrath, unto whom I swear in my wrath that they should not enter unto my rest. Now, the infinite doesn't have wrath. So, and we're not saying that the psalm is incorrect or faulty, but we have to understand that this is a projection of our own minds onto the infinite. And when it says, unto whom I swear in my wrath that they should not enter my rest, from the ego's point of view, it does seem like God's angry. It does seem like the infinite is angry. That's just because the infinite's not allowed, the ego's not allowed into the infinite's presence because it's not real. Anytime the ego comes, which is lies of separation, anytime the ego comes into the presence of the infinite, it gets shined away and shown as being nothing. And so the ego doesn't want to be shown as nothing, so it's going to try to hide and to get you to hide from the infinite. And the infinite here is just telling us, don't do that, because the ego will get shined away. All of those lies will disappear anyway, and you don't want to go through your life identifying with those lies. You want to recognize who you are. You are a child of the infinite, and you deserve happiness, prosperity, all the good that the infinite wants for you. And the infinite is right here with you, giving you all the guidance that you need each and every moment of time and every point of space. And there's no spot that you can ever find yourself in where that guidance isn't available to you. So don't go down that road where you're listening to the ego over and over again and thinking all by yourself and making up all kinds of cockamamie plans for yourself that always end up screwing your life up. It's saying, don't do that anymore. Hopefully you figured out by now that doesn't work. Try it this way. Let me show you. Let me tell you how to get to where you want to go. And I will get you there not only safely and successfully, but it's going to be so much better than anything that your ego mind could have come up with. So it's even though it sounds kind of harsh toward the end of this, it needs to be, because it's saying, look, you need to toe the line for your own sake. Don't fall into those ego thoughts. Don't allow the ego to come up with cockamamie ideas that are only there to delay you from having the happiness that is my will for you. So you just keep coming back to this psalm each and every day until you get a sense of peace and a sense of certainty that all is well. And I tend to, when I'm doing this kind of work, I get to the point where I'm not even interested in working on it anymore, whatever it is. And that's a wonderful place to be, because that's a direct communication from your deep mind. It's all done. You don't need to work on this anymore. This is a done deal. So whatever it is, just keep coming back until you get that sense, and then stop working on it, and all will be well. Thank you so much for joining me today. Until next time, blessed be. Well, we got through that in record time. Let's see if we have any questions here. Let's see. We do not have any questions. Okay, so I hope that everybody can join us over on our main YouTube channel, which is what you're watching right now. If you're watching on YouTube, or if you're on Twitch, come on over to YouTube. Ariel Gatoga is the username. And we will have our premiere of another psalm spell that's been edited in 14 minutes from now. So I hope to see you over at that premiere. Until next time, blessed be.